Hi. Uh, Here I'm just trying to make simple. It's a live, you can say setup demo or whatever you call it. It's just a practice session, you can say. So the point is simple. We are trying to make one simple ASP.NET Core app. So with that, I need to deploy it in Azure system. DevOps has a simple CI/CD kind of activity. So nothing is ready. I'm just making everything now only. So now first, what is ASP.NET Core app? Let me go with simple topic by topics. ASP.NET Core, what it is. Earlier we have .NET apps, .NET framework apps it starts from early days of 2000 2004 or something like that. And the time .NET framework was started in the very early days, it has been keep growing up to the .NET 4.8 versions. So the .NET framework, what was the main issue? It was only for Windows, not for any other OS or operating system. So using .NET framework, we can deploy applications to multiple systems. I mean, it could be Windows service or a web service, web apps, web app, or web API, whatever you call it. So in the .NET earlier, we have Windows services, console applications, all those things. So you mean to say, uh, I mean to say Windows service or web app or console app. You can consider many other things. All these things using the .NET framework. So .NET framework, it starts from 1 to up to 4.8. You can say 4.8, 4.8.1, something, whatever XYZ, you can leave it. So it was till that, like that, probably till 2020, 20 or 21, I think. So it was keep going. The problem with .NET framework was when it started other platforms, it was the issue. We're not able to shift it to. Apart from Windows, we have Mac, Linux, so many other operating systems. So what to do for this? So it's lacking for the .NET guys. So for that, to address that, .NET Core in the sense it's a you can say it's an open source project, mainly supported by Microsoft and many other contributors. Okay, so .NET Core started. So .NET Core 1, 1, 2, 3, up to 3.1 it came. Then it was supposed to make framework version as 4. But since we have the .NET framework version 4, so again it will be confusion for that. So instead of that, they didn't release any .NET Core 4 versions. So it is no, it is not, no more 4. So instead of that, they made a simple platform called .NET. Yes, .NET version. You can consider. And the .NET Core, again, we have .NET Core and .NET Standard earlier. They made .NET Standard as intermediary, and you can use .NET Standard for both .NET Framework, uh, for .NET Framework and .NET Core both. But so all those unnecessary maintenance. So then since this 4 came unnecessary, so they stopped everything. So no more 4. Sorry, yeah. Then .NET, they made it as a unified version. .NET unified version, um, called version called just .NET. Forget about .NET framework, all those things. .NET. Okay. Then it started. Then .NET 5, 6, 7, 8 now. I'm talking in the year of 2024, January. So here .NET 8 is released probably in the month of 23 November. Okay. So with this, there are so many versions came. So here long term, short terms. For example, 6 and 8 are long term supports. There is not much difference between long term and short term. No need to bother much in terms of a simple development perspective. It's just probably 3 to 4 months difference. If you take the example of 7, it is, if it is whatever the period is there, just more than that, some 3 4 months is not long term support. That's it. Don't worry about it. Okay, this is about all the .NET framework history. So with .NET, they are having so many languages. So apart from C sharp, like we have VB, F sharp, so many other things. But as you all know, .NET means how it works. All these languages, it will become. I will just mention in terms of how it was in .NET framework and how it is now. Um, all these things to one just-in-time compiler, which makes into machine level codes. Okay, and machine level target code, you can say, target CPU code. Then it will be executed as CPU or whatever with respect to CPU architecture, client architecture. Okay, it was like this in .NET framework. So how it is in .NET Core? Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is with respect to C sharp, VB, F sharp, all any other language. It will be converted to machine level target architecture. Then only it will be executed in the CPU. So with this, you can see, as I was telling, this .NET framework, it started in the year of 2001. Okay, so obviously the world is running, so there are so many patches. Everything will be keep adding. So the framework become huge. Okay, you can't imagine how many patches, how many issues, so many backward compatibility, so many irrelevant, not required kind of stuffs. So many patches become huge. Okay, so to avoid that, this .NET Core has been introduced. So you can say .NET, if whenever we're talking about .NET Core or .NET Unified or any latest thing, then you consider only it as a this .NET Core and further flow. You understand? .NET Framework is here, .NET Standard, .NET Core, and .NET Unified version. Now .NET Framework, yes, still it support, but in a very rare case, the advanced development is going on. Okay, so now almost everything is the world is focusing. Microsoft, everybody is focusing on .NET Unified version. Okay, very simple. Now, so here this is what. Okay, now in the .NET Core or .NET Unified version, here the development happens. How it happens is whenever you are running it in the C sharp or VB or F sharp, while doing that itself, it makes a very lightweight code, the portable code, you can say. So that code is compatible with any other OS, any target operating system kind of. Yeah, as I was telling, in .NET Core and later versions, the new cross-platform. One second, where is World RAM? Yeah, CoreCLR. Yeah, this is the one main. Earlier we have in .NET framework. Also we have CLR, CTS, all those stuffs. You have to understand those individually yourself. I can't explain all those things. CLR, CTS, all those stuffs. Okay, it means common language runtime, common language specific, common type system, common language specification, all those things. It means whenever you are writing any language, any code in C sharp, VB, or F sharp, so it expects to be finally it has to reach become one of the standard version, that is .NET framework. Okay, it was like that. Now the concept is in core CLR. I mean in this .NET Core onwards. Yeah, I'll just make it all this together. I'll just make it any target in the sense here this core CLR comes into picture. Okay, which is a lightweight version. You can see not like CLR, all those things, a common type system, all those n number of all those things will not be here. The being a cross-platform, it is the main intention is cross-platform. It goes in a tiered compilation model. So first tier it looks like a quick compilation tier produces an intermediate code to run on any platform. As I was telling, it runs on any platform. So that is the main difference in terms of the how .NET Core and this in .NET Framework and .NET Core. In .NET Framework, we have to make all those things machine level target whenever it's running in the target to. You used to mention what type of configuration CPU, all those things. So now that is a difference here. Okay, so this is about till now you understand. I mean, you understand or not? The concept is this only: how .NET Framework get evaluated towards .NET Unified version till now. Okay, so now just to add more point, so I'll just take the example of today, ASP.NET Core. So what is this? Now it is ASP.NET Core. Earlier it was ASP.NET Framework. ASP.NET means ASP.NET Framework. Okay, so I'll just add one more example here. how in the early days the deployment used to happen in the IAS and here ASP.NET Core. Okay, so as a difference I'll just add here. In the early days, whenever you are making, so the code used to deploy it for the what do you call IAS targets to IAS only, but the world is big, so we have so many other things, Apache, so many other different servers, Linux targeting servers, all those things. So we'll come to the container, all those things in the later point. Now let's consider only Windows. So we might have considered like earlier, okay, we'll just create a VM virtual machine in which we'll create IAS and we'll deploy, but that's not the case. We have containers, so many other things. So for that case, how to address those all many other things, many other it executes in a Linux world. So to reduce that, there is a fix. For that, the solution is .NET Core. In .NET Core, yeah, let me add it just a second. Yeah, better. I'll just take it in another tab where I'll just show you how the request goes in the real time. I'm just mentioning in ASP.NET framework with on IIS how it works. First, I will hit a request like let's say India.com. Step one, you can say just a request. Whenever the request from browser, okay, okay, it's called something like this one, www.w.com. Okay, now after this, the request will be hit. So then, obviously, it goes to. I'm just trying to add all the concepts which is necessary for this. So when you hit it in your laptop or mobile or any device, what happens? First, it goes through in your device host file, checks for DNS. If exist, it will return the IP. If exist, returns IP address. Then particular IP calling happens. Okay. Otherwise, just one step. I'll just add. If no, then call to your ISP. ISP could be like you can say Airtel, Geo, or Vodafone, whatever. Okay, so it calls. So it goes there. Then it checks for DNS resolution. Okay, so if it is not, then if it is there, then it returns. Otherwise, again it checks in the level of what do you say, top level domain. So totally either here or there till top level domain, it looks for DNS resolution. So find anywhere it tries to get the extraction is the IP address of target, address of target. Okay. Once afterwards, the request will be hit to the IP address, whatever you can say, 10 dot something like 20 dot some 20, 12 dot some 134. Let's say, for example, the URL hit was India.com. Let's consider it hits this particular one. So when you hit this, what happens? I'm just talking about ASP.NET framework, which is already deployed in the IAS system. So I'm trying to explain that. Okay. So whenever it reaches a particular server, then what happens in the step four? Uh, one sec. In the third step, the particular IAS server it gets a request. What it does is here IAS processing. If you try to see the life cycle of all these things, you will just see this. These are the terminologies. IAS processing. It starts here. How it happens is you can say there is a IS API extension. Okay, so which is on this particular IAS system. For any IAS, this IS API extension is the one which does the all the operation kind of stuffs. Okay, so for this ASP.NET, it is you can say ASP.NET IS API. Okay, uh, yeah, this is about this is the one. Okay, so this one you can call it as a it's a low level API kind of. It's you can say abstraction, all those things. Okay, in terms of maybe if you have the idea of this DLL, how this all those things, you can just check on this one, these terminologies: ASP.NET, ISAPI.dll, something like this. I don't remember exactly. You can just check about this. This is the one. What this is the one which intercepts here all the requests. This is about MVC or .NET framework, anything in general. Okay. Then in the fifth step, you can say it looks for the page. For example, the IAS which is configured. Okay, let's consider uh, the page one.html. Okay, let's consider the user requested, this is the one. Okay, let me go with this example. Then so the IAS IP address, it looks for only main address. Okay, it is not about this all those sub pages, all those things. Okay, so a top level domain, if it is having something like one dot something like this, then one will be subdomain. Okay, I'm not going to bother, explain much on all those things. Okay, IIS processing, this it enters. Then IIS processing, it invokes the what do you call, ASP.NET runtime. Okay, uh, gets invoked. Sorry about the spellings. Let me increase the font. Okay, so once it get invoked, the ASP.NET runtime, it looks for the mapping of the files. Let's consider the HTML page first. HTML page will come to the MVC. That is the next step. I'll just take that. No worry. So this looks for the mapping stuff. It means it tries to see this page one.html. Is it exist or not? Or not? If it exists, then it goes for the page life cycle. If it exists or not. Okay, I will come to this. If not, what happens? It returns not found response, or if it is controlled in any broader way, response, or something like the custom exception page. Otherwise, okay, now we come for the good case. If exist, then what happens? The respective page life cycle. You can say ASP.NET page life cycle, in which it starts something like that page init, and then load, and something like pre-render, and then render. So many flow. It gets keep executing. Then afterwards, one sec. Yeah, once everything is completed, then the HTML response will be written to IAS. IAS. Okay. Then IAS returns to client. Okay. So this is the whole story. Okay. Okay. Sorry about the spelling. Now, within this, what is the difference where MVC comes into picture, all those things? Okay, almost the concept like up to IS API extension, everything is same. Only this ASP.NET runtime gets invoked. This mapping logic is there, right? Here, before this, here how it looks is it looks for the page specific. Okay, in the ASP.NET. Okay, I'll just mention in the next step itself for ASP.NET MVC. I'm just mentioning here what happens on step. What is that? Six. Okay. Here instead of looking, this is uh, like one-to-one mapping of files. You can say files or views or whatever you call it. Okay. But in MVC, what happens? Here your URL routing module, which get intercepted. Okay, this particular URL routing model which looks for the URL patterns. Like for example, here the request is like this: india.com/page1.html. Instead of this, uh, here the request is home slash about, in which it looks for home controller. Okay, home controller about action method. Okay, so this URL routing module intercepted and verifies the route. This is about how the in IAS request. This is not required. Leave it. Intercepted and then remaining all same. Here in terms of what is this? Okay, I'll just mention one small change in this also. Step 7. Here there is no page lifecycle like this in MVC. The page lifecycle is different. Page lifecycle is different. Different. Like you can say action method, methods execution, filters, all those things comes into picture. This is about, okay, remaining all HTML response returns to IAS client. Okay, this is ASP.NET framework. Okay, let me save it as ASP.NET framework. We'll add all these things to just in note somewhere else uh, on IAS. Okay, now let me copy the same thing uh, on what do you say ASP net core framework on framework. Okay, deployment. You can say not deployment, running on request. Okay, leave this. Okay, so how it is here. Let's consider the scenario of this itself. I'll just take that the later portion of that particular because ASP.NET Core framework, each and everything is by default. We are taking the action of, yeah, MVC as the best adaptability in the framework. Okay, post DNS framework, all those things same. Okay, so this mapping, okay, if exist, okay, okay, this is the difference. Okay, let me correct here a little more. Okay, so this is in terms of IAS, but the this is how it works in IAS. Okay, this is what you just port it. I'm just going one by one. Okay, to make it very clarity to everybody. Okay, here, yeah, let me open one simple Visual Studio for this. So whenever you're doing any application or any Visual Studio, any configuration, try to execute with administrator mode because obviously as a developer you need admin rights for running the many instances, many different purposes. Some of the concepts like when you're on the installer or whenever you're trying to access the system configuration level or anything, you should be having the administrator rights, whether you are starting as a fresher or experienced or anything. So always try to ensure you must be having the what is that the admin rights. Just a second, it's loading some of my here. I don't show you the complete demo here. First, I'll just show you the just simple things. I'm just trying to create one you can say demo project. So here, code. Okay. Okay. I'll just take the example of Blazor itself because that is the one. Yeah. Again. Okay. Just a second. Blazor web app. Okay. Let me take Blazor WebAssembly standalone app. I'll just introduce a more. Blazor app one. It's a wasm is a short form of this particular. Let me go in this way itself. Yeah, this progressive web app. It means whenever you open any web apps, like it could be twitter.com or anything in a browser, you will be getting an option like install. So it means instead of making an app in the how do you say, Play Store or iOS App Store or something, you can make it as a lightweight version in the browser itself. Whatever you have the application, that will be running in the client. So how it runs, how it has the process, all those things. So the concept of WebAssembly, I just try to take it in some either this or the next different video. Yeah, first this one progressive web application is for that purpose. Do not use top level; it's for different purpose. Okay, let me make it a simple authentication type name. A long term, short term, I was talking the different versions. Okay, so I'm just making it. So where I was, yeah, this is the one. Yeah. So here, yes, this is the main required for. Uh, One sec. Let me make one more instance of Visual Studio, so it will be easy for. This is a fresh PC. Yeah, everything I'm setting up fresh. So for the sake of making it, if any issue, let me face it here itself, so it will be easy for others to make a start. New project. Let me make one ASP.NET as well. ASP.NET Core Web App. Okay, it's I will call this as Core Web Application 1. Okay, is I'm recording? Yes, yes, I'm recording. Okay, let me use. Okay, let me use this itself. Docker. Okay, let me enable it. I'll choose the Windows Docker itself. Um, if you, by default, for example, you have checked out some project with the Docker, then if you don't have Docker, don't worry. I'll just show you the simple way how to just bypass that. Okay, I'm just creating one more ASP.NET Core web app and Blazor because Blazor, I agree, few are many are new to it. So here, this is the one. Okay, here. So in the .NET Core, as I was mentioning, the difference, how it happens in the early days and now. So here, whatever we have started this particular project, all those things. One second. Mm, the debug is in Docker must be running. Okay, yeah. If I have Docker, whenever you create this, it says to debug it in a container, Docker desktop must be running. Do you want to start Docker desktop? Since I have it, that's why it's asking. But I'll just say no for it for time being. I'll just make it later. So if you don't have Docker or something, if it's a blocker for you, just right click and just exclude that particular project. That's it. Okay. So now I'm trying to bring the contents from IAS mode to here. Okay. So first, yeah, if you wanted to use this, here I have to make use IAS integration kind of. I mean to say, yeah, this is the one. Why it is not available? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, it is not available. Yes, the reason is we have to get some NuGet package for this. Where is that? Manage NuGet packages. Browse. If you're in the custom projects or something like that, whenever you're practicing, try to make sure NuGet.org is the best. Microsoft Visual Studio offline packages is different. If you have offline stores or something, if you have custom something, then you can use that. Or if you have something more NuGet package resource, you can add that and you can just refer from that place. Okay. Now here, let me search for UAIS integration. Okay, I'm wrong with spelling. Yeah, Microsoft ASP.NET Core Server.is integration. It's been deprecated. Okay. Okay. Still, I will install it. I mean, it is not required ideally. The reason is it's a totally different model, but just for the sake of demo, I'm just using it. Okay. Does not contain this particular one. Use. Why it is not available? Let me take a break. Actually, I'm getting some issue with this, but totally it's not required. Maybe the deprecated version is causing the issue. Yeah, totally. What happens is whenever any request comes here, IIS integration is supposed to come here. Then that particular one it goes through all the process of .NET Core execution. Okay. The thing is, what I'm supposed to cover in the next steps is uh, .NET Core uh, to do is execution way difference with pipelines and Blazor what why some short. Okay, these two I'm supposed to clear in the next moment. Okay. um, okay, yeah, now coming back to this, play this totally. Yeah, here, one sec, let me undo this. Whichever is I don't want, let me remove it. If you're using the code, and also one more thing is whenever you're practicing something, just try to create a free NuGet repo. I'm sorry, GitHub repo. I mean to say, for example, here I'll just show you. This is my code. Okay, so my code is not in the Git repo branches. So before that, whenever you open Visual Studio, try to create your account properly, Outlook account, and log in with your account. For example, my account is this one, Namadu kind of. So when you have this, and also yeah, better this one also. Let me. I made it some authentication app. What is the number? 88. Yes, I did it. So it gets authenticated. What is this? Account settings. Yeah. What is this? I'm using here community version. Yeah, you can see here this is my Microsoft account. If I'm using anything with Azure DevOps or anything with Microsoft stuff, this will be the account. With GitHub, I'm using this one. You can add multiple accounts to this. You don't have any restriction like that. Okay. Always go with the community only for the sake of non-business, not for any production related. Okay. Yeah, this is the GitHub account. Now this is a fresh account I created. I wanted to just push my code to repository. If I wanted to take something existing one, then clone repository. Otherwise, if I'm going to push, just do like this account, which is the account, blah blah blah, all those things starts comes. If you're not logged in, then you're unnecessary, it shows the pop-up or something kind of all those issues. Okay, here you have to do. If it is GitHub, if it is Azure DevOps, then it is here. You have to switch. And one more thing is, in many of the users are, I'm just getting the request from many of my friend circle. So whenever you're just trying to log in, you're facing the issue. So for that case, what you can do is just go to this whatever this tools options, and here just search for the browser features. So here it shows this embedded browser is it's there, right? Instead of this, change it to system web browser. Why this issue comes, I'll tell you. You're having Visual Studio of the latest, but the browser is not updated. It could be Chrome or whatever it is. Our Visual Studio embedded is having, they're trying to invoke all those through Edge modes. But since Edge mode is not properly updated or any other issue, the gap, it won't open properly. It shows some blank page or some it's not getting the request kind of. In that case, just go here and just change it to system web browser. So then what it does is it makes you to open it in the default browser instance. So for that, again, for example, just for the demo, I am just so here you can see in the task manager, I have two Chrome instances. Okay, so here this particular Chrome instance is one having, this is having another. Okay, so whenever you are trying to open this, better the easy option is you open whichever is the account you have and go there and just log in with whatever the expected. If you see GitHub or anything, any of that things, just go and log in here. If it is not, then it comes. For example, this is here. It came here. it is not logged in. So then again you have to do, instead of better log in first here, and then just keep it open as a last step, and then immediately that next step you just do it here. Okay, I mean to say, for example, here go on login or whatever you can say. Okay, and this is about create git repository. This is the one. Yeah, why I told you all the story, the reason is, whenever you create fresh, just push it into branch and then start doing your changes or practice or trial and error or anything. So what happens after you successfully done, maybe better create a branch for that particular feature or testing or whatever you call, and then you push the changes. So the advantage is, if you are not good with it, if you are stuck with it, so you can see the differences, what's wrong, what's right. Yeah, that's the only motto of my whole explanation. Yeah, leave it. So this is what you have. Okay, let me build this and build this Blazor also. It was saying something wrong. Okay, yeah. So whenever you're pushing any code or anything, always ensure you're running locally. Okay, and then in the .NET Core, I was talking, right? Core in the sense, again, .NET Unified. Okay, here we have usually three sections. You take this, yeah, both web config, no difference. We will be having web application. .NET Core, it is always, you just understand something like it's simple. It's a simple, you can say, .NET Core means, .NET Core means, you can assume like it's a simple console application. Okay, don't assume it's something like .NET framework how it is executing. This is a console application in which you are running all the different instances, all instances, features, everything. Okay, .NET Core. Okay, so the thing is here, why I'm telling you this one is, here you can see this is one wide main. This is everything is wide main. If you create .NET Framework 4.8, there is nothing called wide main. Okay, it will be a service application start or something like that. It's a different way. But here it is wide main. This will be the running point in the .NET Framework 4.8, the MVC or whatever you call. It's something called startup.ces, all those different configurations. But now in the .NET Core, they're trying to make it very unified and very clean, segregated, and standard way. So here there are three steps. One is the builder. What type? It's a web application builder or a different type of, based on totally one type of builder. And for that builder, this is, you can call uh, section 1. You just understand it, however you understand it depends on you. Okay, second thing is this section 2. Section 2 in the sense, configure what all you needed, what all needed. It could be like dependency injections, or any configuration related stuffs, or anything, any you wanted to extract. That is the one. This configure services, this is called configure services section. Earlier, I think probably till .NET 5, I think it used to be separate, configure services one method and configure in separate method, all those things. But now they're making it very simple and straightforward, like everything together. Create a builder instance under which only do this builder services, and then using this builder object, create a app object. Okay, this is the one. Here. Step 3, this is the one where the pipeline flow in the sense, flow of middlewares means, yeah, here is the difference I was mentioning here, right? One sec. Yeah, I'm recording. Chin, chin, chin. Yeah, I was mentioning execution way difference, right? Of with pipelines. Yes, I'm there only. So here the thing is, what happens in the .NET framework? I just told you how the conversion of IAS, all those things are in terms of JIT compiler, all those things. Here, now all those keeping aside, this with the keeping that knowledge in this particular, whenever the this system has been deployed, let's assume it's been deployed, then whenever the request comes, what happens, each and every request should go through These pipelines, pipeline means it is just assume a pipeline. Whenever the water is going from series of flow from floor 1 to floor 2, it goes floor 2 to floor 3, it goes, okay, or you can say stage 1 to stage 2, stage 3, okay, in between middle steps. So there are all connecting the middles, okay. That what is that middleware means you are trying to say, let's assume like a you're filtering your water. So in your home, you have a multi-stage filters, maybe water filter or anything. It goes through first one step. It just clears out all the big dirt particles. Then it goes for the second step. It does some more filtration, and third step some more filtration. Finally, the refined one will be delivered to the drinking water supply or whatever cups or whatever you call. Same way, this middleware comes into picture. So how? Okay, yeah, maybe this. So what happens? Middleware 1, then middleware 2, and then middleware 3. Once everything is completed, then returning the result or whatever you call drinking water you can feed. Yeah, better keep the difference as this one. Middleware means just like a filter stage 1. I'm trying to make the examples some easier way. It's not exactly, don't consider this is the absolute uh, kind of a solution or representation, but this is a only kind of a portraying solution. Okay, middleware. Whenever you just set up a pipeline like this, whenever you are having uh, the flow, this is what's supposed to be. Okay, with this is called configuration in the pipelines. Okay, so here within that, for example, if the water gets blocked at this particular point, what happens? It just throws back. How it goes? It will go through middleware 1 only, right? You have I mean to say, let me take up some, sorry, this is a new PC. Where is this? Okay, here this is something like this. You can say flow of pipelines or whatever you call pipeline. Okay, this is just a pipeline. Okay, here one middleware, two middleware. Middleware or filter. Middleware 1, filter stage 1. I'm not good in all these decorations. 2, 3. If everything is completed, then only it delivers to this place. Okay, here the most important is whenever any request comes, it comes like this. Okay, okay, not like this. You can say 22. Uh, whenever it is coming, it comes like this. Once it reaches the end, the reason why I am making this, it is not returning here, and then Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to make it as much as here. Uh, the request comes like this. Now let me take this particular. It comes like this. It is passed here. Then it comes here. It is passed. Sorry. Step two. It is failed. For example. Then what happens? The request will just come out. I mean, in this step only, it returns something, and then returns back. Okay. But the thing is, where is that? Okay, the final here, this what do you say? One sec. The use and run. It means there are two terminologies here used. Something called, one is use. You can see here use routing and use authorization, map razor pages, and run. So these are the three. One is use, one is run, and map, and there is one more. Let me add you that. Here, where I was. Yeah, here use, map, and run. Okay, so whenever you say use, it means go through it. Whenever you say run, it means you're returning the step, last step. Okay, in between, I mean, whenever from one use to next use, you have to pass the request. If you didn't pass it, if you return it, then the further flow will be bypassed, so it's not complete. Okay, so now just to come back to the same point, as I was telling, it came here due to the whatever the condition, it is not bypassing to next step. Instead, it is returning here itself. Then it comes back. The job is not completed. It means it is not completely satisfied. Okay, so again, okay, let me, I just opened on a web article itself for this. So as I was telling, whenever you say invoke, what is this ads? Whenever you say each middleware means each middleware, it has internally this particular one. You can see each middleware component contains an invoke method. This accepts reference to an instance of HTTP context as an argument. So each middleware, it gets the HTTP context. Okay. Whenever you're configuring something in the context level, then middleware is the stuff. You will get that particular one, do whatever the logic xyz, if this is the case. For example, if the user is from let's see, some country India, then only continue. If user is from western country, then continue. If the user is details is not passed or not authenticated with proper rights or some kind of condition, you see like API key or whatever you see, any condition, if you feel satisfied, then you invoke the next step. This avoid next dot invoke, it means you're just passing it to the next one. If not, if you return at this place itself, then this particular middleware means any that particular middleware will be executed. Okay, here you can see map request a. Okay, here the user is map. Okay, yeah, you can see it. App dot run. Okay, this is the last step. So that is how you can execute that particular one. Okay. Now, totally the summary. Whenever you get some request, if it passes through all the stage, then if it returns, then you're good with it. If it return, I mean, the flow is always like this. How it goes, the same way it comes back. Same like how constructor destructor happens. The same implementation knowledge is to assume like that. Okay. So yeah, it is here. The flow came till this place, and then you're running. Whenever you're running, if you just observe each and every request in the browser, if you read any request, it goes through all these stages in a different way, one or the other way. Okay, here it says like use HTTP redirection, use static files, all these things. Okay, now by default, what do we call this? .NET Core is there. This is the one which uses the Custral engine. Custral engine means you can say it's something like yeah. This is here. It's about the series of middleware. Okay. So any request, it goes through middleware, then it returns back to the users. Now let me quickly run this. Okay, here while running, we can run using the Docker. Currently, I'm just disabling Docker. I'll be using the AS Express. AS Express is a lightweight version of IAS. That's it, nothing else. Don't bother much about it. Use AS Express. I'm using. So this configuration with respect to any project, it could be Blazor or whatever it is. you will have with respect to app settings, what is the connection string, all those things. You will store it here. How it has to be launched, that will be under this. Okay, sorry, not here. Properties, launch settings.json. So here, when it is running through HTTPS mode, it has to run like this. When it is IIS Express, it is like this. When it is Docker, it will be like this in this port. So on IAS, it will be like this. This is launch settings.json. This is app settings.json. With respect to each file, we can have development.json. Whenever you are running, this development.json file will not be checked into the server. I mean, by default. If you still modify, if you wanted to just do that, then you can do this git and where is that? I mean, it's not been checked into git till now. If you just made it checked in, then you have to include it separately because that is a convention. Usually, no one will check in the development system configurations unless it is necessary. Okay, so now this is about launch setting.json. So now you can see IIS Express is not having any other port or something. Still, I'm just trying to run. Let me see. I'm running this ASP.NET Core web app, not the Blazor, because as more users are with this, that's why over shifting from Blazor to .NET, sorry, ASP.NET Core to Blazor, the world. I'll just come to that also. It's taking a while. It run, yeah, it's something run here. So whenever you have something, any other content, okay, just simple thing. I don't make ASP.NET Core web application one something like this. Okay, this is how this particular the pipeline flow. Okay, now what I missed. Yeah, this one is covered. Execution way difference. So what is Blazor? Yeah, Blazor is also just a simple thing. In ASP.NET Core Web App and all, we are making the each request, right? So whenever we make any request, the server will how it works is in the sense like you have this particular page, let's say in index.cshtml. So what it happens in the server only, it makes this I mean, you have written this code using C sharp, all those mixed languages, but ideally it will not be understandable by browser in a simple way. So for that, what you will do, you will convert this to some HTML format. I mean, after we replacing all the values, whatever the respective all C sharp, everything replaced. Finally, we'll deliver only browser understandable language. That is HTML and JavaScript is the basic core languages, common ones. Okay, but you just understand the word like how Angular and all those things is. It runs in the client side. It means whenever it is it ran successfully in the, from the browser server, it will be loading something contents in the client side in the user browser. It will store and only it will try to call API invocation. That is about client side development languages. So JavaScript itself is, but you can't write, since you are not writing everything in the JavaScript, right? You are writing it in C sharp or some different HTML server render mode. Okay. So to address this, Microsoft started in the year of 2018, I think, 18 or 16, somewhere around that. So they started this Blazor project. What it is it's about client side development purpose. Okay. Here inside this Blazor, there are two types again. One is server mode, another is WebAssembly. Since the world is now running behind this WebAssembly in a different spectrum, it is not only Microsoft, many people are using it. These are the two modes in the Blazor. Okay, this WebAssembly, or you call it as a wasm. Okay, this is the common architecture pattern now everybody is using. So how it works, just I'll just show you the simple step and then I'll just end up this particular uh, video content, and then in the next I'll just take up the deployment stuff. This is here what I'm trying, yeah, meanwhile it is running. What I'm trying to cover up here is what is .NET framework and .NET Core differences and IAS flow and some just touch up of this particular web application. Since I have chosen progressive web app, so you can see here it shows this install Blazor as a web app. So if you see, if you just to trigger F12, I'm using the Chrome. If you anywhere, so you can see this particular counter one, all those things. If you click, it's just like a client app, same like Angular, all those many other React and all those things. Same way Microsoft is developing this. So you can see if you go to the network tab, you can see one sec. Was, one sec. I think I have changed the mode of this. Okay, let it load. Network tab. That is wasm. WebSocket. Okay. I think I have chosen this is not a Blazor wasm. I think just a second. This must be Blazor WebAssembly. Sorry, web server. I think this is no. This is WebAssembly only. It used to come here. I had to refresh on this particular knowledge. Earlier, it used to come WASM. It will come here. It will be appearing here. If you go here, application, it stores the storage some content. Yeah, you can see this particular one is 23.2 MB of data has been stored here. Whenever we are running this, for example, where is that network? If I make it kind of offline, you can see I can still be running. I just made it an offline mode, still it is running. Means it is running from the client perspective. If I'm going for home also. But if I go to weather, it says loading, but it won't load. You can see here it is not loading. The reason is, where is that? There are some errors, but totally what happened is this particular one component is fetching the response from server. That is what. Remaining all the component are running from client side itself. This is about Blazor and all those things. Till now, what I came. Remaining will just come in the next